In the early 1920s, the sun baked the sands of southern Iraq. Archaeologists, searching for the roots of civilization, were digging deep into a mound known as Tel al-Ubaid. They expected to find pottery, simple tools, perhaps early farming structures. They were not prepared for the discovery that would defy explanation for the next century. They unearthed a collection of ancient figurines unlike anything ever seen, before or since. They were the idols of the Ubaid culture, and their faces were not human. The Ubaid period predates even the famed Sumerian civilization. We're talking about a culture thriving in Mesopotamia nearly 7,000 years ago. Yet, buried in their ritual sites and graves, the archaeologists found these unsettling relics. Look closely at them. They possess large, elongated heads and wide, almond-shaped eyes that stare blankly into the millennia. But the most shocking feature? Their faces are distinctly lizard-like. They appear to be humanoid reptiles, with sloped snouts and sometimes even what looks like scaly skin texture. They're standing upright, often holding staffs or wearing what appear to be pads on their shoulders. One particular figure is the most baffling and controversial of all, a female figurine, nursing an infant. But this isn't a human mother, this is a lizard-headed entity cradling a child with the same non-human features. What kind of gods were these people worshipping? And why did they depict their maternal figures as something so alien? When these objects were first recovered, legendary British archaeologist Sir Leonard Woolley and his team were confounded. They had experience with the strange. This was Mesopotamia, after all, but the Ubaid figurines broke every known cultural pattern. Woolley noted in his records the utterly bizarre appearance, speculating they must represent a mythological creature. Yet, standard archaeological method failed them. There were no matching texts, no murals, and no other artifacts to provide context. The idols existed in an informational vacuum. This meant mainstream archaeology had to settle on a vague explanation, ritual objects or status symbols. But that generic classification ignores the terrifying detail. These weren't crude, quickly made idols. The craftsmanship in some pieces is meticulous, suggesting deep cultural significance. They weren't just a fleeting myth, they were central to this civilization's beliefs. Consider this, throughout ancient history, we see recurring motifs. Snake gods, bird-headed creatures, cat-like figures, but these specific, elongated, lizard humanoid forms are an absolute anomaly. They are a cultural dead end. There is no comparable set of idols in Egypt, the Indus Valley, or even later Sumerian art. It's as if they emerged from the sand, existed for a brief, terrifying period, and then were intentionally erased from human history. This has naturally led to the more unsettling theories. On the modern internet, these figures have become the centerpiece of fringe claims, linked to everything from ancient alien visitors to the controversial reptilian theories. While mainstream science rejects these notions, the Ubaid idols remain the most compelling visual evidence that some people, 7 millennia ago, may have literally worshipped a non-human species. Were these the depictions of divine ancestors who simply looked different from us? Or, perhaps, do these figures represent something that visited them with a non-human, ancient presence that the Ubaid people felt compelled to worship and immortalize in clay? The very existence of these Ubaid idols forces us to confront uncomfortable questions about the past we think we know. These weren't figures designed for comfort or beauty, they were designed to inspire awe and perhaps terror. They represent a profound break from the human-centric imagery that would dominate later civilizations. Today, these figurines are catalogued and protected in museums like the British Museum, yet they are rarely, if ever, put on public display. It's almost as if the authorities prefer them to remain forgotten, to keep the disturbing truth of the lizard idols locked away in the archives. We know who they were. We know where they were found. But we may never truly know what they represent. They are a 7,000-year-old warning etched in clay, a glimpse into a primordial world where the gods looked nothing like us. We may never know who they worshipped, or why their gods looked like this. What do you think these idols represented? Let us know your theories in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives into the unknown.